friends, the show starts now. Welcome to the weekly roundtable, where the takes are hot and FOMO set to disable. Welcome to the weekly roundtable, where friends are made and we all drink that red maple. Break. Juan's got his eyes on the latest somehow. We mean forex that make you go wild. Crypto crazy is a man on a mission like a Tesla. He most def got a vision. Weekly roundtable, we got no cables. Predicting the future using their bagels. Chart is throwing out numbers, no trouble. He finds the gems for real, no struggle. Calculations running through your mind. Weighing options, seeing what you'll find. Crypto waves crashing like the tide. Hold your breath, it's a crazy ride. Welcome to the weekly roundtable, where the takes are hot and FOMO set to disable. Welcome to the weekly roundtable, where friends are made and we all drink that red.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks for joining us with today's roundtable. It is 1 day removed from the final results of the election in the U.S., and the markets have certainly reacted to it. As usual, I have my co-host and everyday expert in the all things crypto and gold this week, Juan G. How you doing, sir?
Perplexed. Definitely a lot of reaction out there. Good stuff. I think there was money to be made, and people definitely took advantage of it. Whether it was stocks, gold, or forex, or crypto, it was there. So I'm excited to see how the rest of the week finishes. Tomorrow's the last day.
Yes, sir. And there is some news about that. The bullishness in the market. If we can close above 74.9, I believe it is, for the week, it will be a bullish sentiment for the market going forward. And I think we're all hoping for that. Okay, so we'll go over the news first. There's a lot to go over. As many know, the election concluded yesterday, or I believe last night, with the conceding to Donald Trump. He is officially the president-elect. That being said, there was a lot of reaction in the markets, both TradFi and in the crypto markets. For example, traditional finance, they had 1.28 trillion added to the U.S. stock market yesterday alone. And the crypto market added 200 billion in 1 day, which is a crazy amount. We saw Bitcoin hit new all-time highs. There were a few other tokens, for example, SUI, that hit an all-time high. And there were a few others that really did well. A lot of the high market cap, top 20, top 25 tokens all did really well. And ironically enough, a lot of the meme coins did not do so well. Some did. The Salana blockchain continued to roll, as it always does. So anything on Salana was doing really well, but a few of the others, especially meme coins on Ethereum, did not do quite as well. As for the ETFs, the Bitcoin ETFs, the volume surpassed over 6 billion yesterday in 1 day, which is a record. So the ETFs also saw a lot of trading volume. And BlackRock alone saw over 4.1 billion in trading, which is also a record for that. Let's see what else. I forgot to mention this off camera and yesterday as well, when we were talking, that over 250 pro-crypto candidates were elected to Congress, which is very bullish for crypto as a whole. Let's see what else we got. It's funny here, JP Morgan says that Bitcoin and gold will benefit from yesterday's results. But as you will mention in a little bit, Bitcoin sure did. Gold, not so much. It went the other way for some reason, and we'll get your insights on that. News today, Federal Reserve, they cut the interest rates by 25 basis points, which was also bullish. We saw a quick little pump out of Bitcoin, and Ethereum today as well touched the 2,900 mark, and it hasn't been that high in quite some time. But it's reacting bullish to the news. I'm not sure, possibly the ETFs, the Ethereum ETFs maybe having a lot of inflows as a result of the election, but we shall see. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, and this was interesting. Detroit, Michigan. They are now the largest city in the U.S. that are going to accept Bitcoin and crypto for taxes. So that's big news for all those Michiganders. And then, of course, we got just the regular news on Salana, their upgrade coming soon. So yeah, a lot of bullishness in the markets and in the news in general. But one thing that did take a dip, one safe haven, or as a hedge against inflation, as you could say, is gold. Did you have any insights on that one? What happened there?
Well, as we all know, that gold is a store of value for a lot of customers there. And sometimes when there isn't enough money to make moves, they remove it from the gold market. And you can see that it got put in, it didn't disappear. It got put into Forex and stocks. US 30, kick butt. Stocks were doing very well. Again, you look at BTC kicking butt. So it just shows that sometimes there's this divergent kind of symbiotic relationship between gold and the other markets. And now you see it coming back up. I actually just put a trade in myself because I know it broke a kind of certain resistance because I know that gold is, again, a store of value and a lot of people made money. And when you make money, well, you put it back in, right back into gold so that it can safely stay there. And I think that that's what the market kind of just reacted to. And I expect that gold will get back to its normal 2750, if not trying to reach all-time highs. So again, not surprising considering. I don't think it's so much of a reaction to the presidency. I think it's more of a reaction to we want more liquidity in the high volatile markets like crypto, and
Yeah.
Gold is just not as volatile as crypto right now.
Right. That's one of the things I was going to say. It's probably because once the election was over and people realized that the crypto market is going to be in better hands, so to speak, and those are really high risk assets, and so people were probably saying, "All right, here we go." So they pull a little bit out of their safer assets, gold and the such and the like, and maybe put it into the riskier assets, knowing the price was going to go up. So that could have been part of it as well. You're right.
Yeah, and when you look at the overall forex market, though, it was particularly very healthy. Whether you were trading GBP, whether you were trading the euro, yeah, we saw some volatility there, but nothing that was out of the norm. So it's really exciting for people right now to kind of just now get into, if they want to get into forex, do some TNA, get some success out of it, because it just kind of shows that the when Trump was elected to become president-elect, that most countries are still good. There was no, hey, World War III starting, let's start dumping on the U.S. So it just shows that I'm hoping that we're heading in the direction of uniformity.
Yeah. Pardon me. Yeah, let's hope that once the dust settles, we can have a little bit more of a clear indication of exactly what's going to go on in the markets, which I'm pretty sure we have a good idea, but you never can tell. You never know until the moment comes.
Agreed.
Okay, so we'll go over a few more news articles over here on Cointelegraph, see if anything catches our eye of interest. Bitcoin all-time high, which we touched on, 76.8. It hit, what was it? Well, it hit the new all-time high yesterday after all was said and done. And then again today, it just touched on it and hit a brand new one as well. It has since retraced. I believe we are now at 76,200. So yes, we have retraced a little bit, but it's still holding. Like I'm sure myself and many others, maybe even you as well, Juan, when we hit those crazy markets yesterday, I thought for sure when we have, that $7,000 God candle that we were going to have some kind of a retracement. And we didn't really. I mean, it came down a few thousand, but nothing significant. It went right back up today.
No, I was totally agree with you. That nice candle. Hope people were able to take advantage of it. If you hedged your bet, congratulations. You had both sides. And I think this is what TNA is all about, kind of seeing what's happening, paying attention to what's happening in the market, and also the sentiment, right? Sentiment plays a role. People forget. And right here is a great example of a bullish candle, paying it forward, and then, like you said, partially retracing. And In retrospect, though, I thought we were going to hit 80. I thought we were going to have a bigger pump. To be honest with you, I want to break into the 80 zone. I think that's where we're going to see this bull run really start getting jump started. What do you think?
No, I agree. And, I think part of the reason why we didn't get that massive candle up to 80,000, which again would have been a nice round number. But you got to remember I don't want to call them the elites, but the institutions and such, they haven't quite got their bags full yet. And so when the price started going, I think they probably maybe suppressed it a little bit because they're not quite accumulating. But believe me, and I'm sure everyone else in the market is waiting as well. As soon as they are ready to let the price go and stop fucking with it, excuse my French, I think that's when we'll really see some huge pumps and big wicks coming into the banana zone of the bull market. But that could be, I could be totally wrong, but I expected a little bit of a bigger pump. But hey, $7,000 candle in one day. We haven't had something like that in this bull market yet, I don't think. Maybe back in March, but nothing over the summer. So it was really, really nice to see. We have, David. Oh, David. Hey, how you doing, buddy? Thanks for joining. Yeah, he's one of the guys that's been with us from the very, very start, back when we did spaces on Twitter. So good to see you here. Thanks for coming. And what is Black Cat saying? Thinking we get feeling bullish, maybe. Yeah. Well, I don't think there's really anything to be scared about, Black Cat. One of the biggest things in this market, especially this time of the cycle, is patience. If you can have patience and not knee-jerk react, you'll do pretty well. Okay, so back to the markets here, all-time high. Yep, Salana open interest hits a record high. Not surprising, Salana it's been phenomenal, this market. This cycle, it's going to be the one. There's a lot of talk that it could mimic what Ethereum did last cycle. Not quite sure. I mean, that would put Salana, like almost a 10x from here, and that's pushing it. It's already done a 10 to 12x from the lows in the bear market. But hey, stranger things can happen. If we do get a lot of retail interest and we get a lot of money coming into the market, especially with the new administration down south in the States and possibly soon up here in Canada, sky's the limit. Regulation could make everything just go absolutely bananas. Can Bitcoin go parabolic, as I was just saying? Doge had a massive pump. It's retracing. There's an article here as to why it's retracing. Well, it's, what goes up must come down. No secret there. Okay, so I did read something earlier. I'm not sure if this is the one, that's not the one there. I read, I'm sure, Juan, you were familiar with Pump Fund and Jupiter. A couple of these places had, and Polymarket, they had these bets on the election. So if you could either vote for Trump or Harris, and whoever won, you won a percentage of the pot. And apparently someone in the EU, I'm not sure exactly where, but they made a few $1 million because of it. And now they're actually considering banning Polymarkets from there.
Oh, God.
Yeah, you know what it is? These governments, I don't know. Depending on the government, it's almost like they don't want to see their citizens being successful or making money. Anytime there's a way for someone to make money, they shut it down. It's almost like these governments are I don't know, maybe they can't control the wealthy, whatever the reason is, I don't know. But yeah, they're buzzkill. It's like that, that teenager at a 10-year-old's birthday party just trying to crash the fun, and I don't understand it.
For me, the challenge is that when these things are not like out of left field, like anybody with an internet connection knew these things were a possibility, that these things could happen. And yet, if they were afraid, and don't get me wrong, like I think too much wealth in the hands of too many people is not great either for the economy, right? Because then that's just going to lead to artificial inflation. With that being said, if you want to do control, if you really want to kind of control some of it, then regulate properly, right? Mm-hmm. So that way people don't do dumb things, right? But they don't. And that's the biggest challenge with the governments we have today, including here in the US, where we have an opportunity to kind of manage some of that and regulate properly. But no, we want to wait until, 100 million people make $1 million by accident and then try to take it back, and sue people. Come on, man. No. It's
Yeah.
not the right way. I
No.
totally agree with you. Dumb government decisions. They could have got ahead of it, and they didn't.
Yeah. Well, I think that's going to be all the way it is with government, no matter who it is. Okay, moving on. Now, Ethereum, like I said, actually, I am going to check this one out because Ethereum has been stagnant for the longest time. And for whatever reason, it kind of has woken up lately. And I'm not sure if it's only because of the ETFs, but here you can see that's quite the move that Ethereum had. And it had been literally ranging sideways for several, what is it? Yeah, a couple of months. And then all of a sudden we had this huge candle. So, it's saying here that Trump, because he promised pro crypto policies, Ethereum ETF. Okay, so this is what I was saying. Yeah, it's a 6-week high into the Ethereum ETF. So that could be part of the reason 1.41 million on his private wallet. Oh, look at that.
Good
Mr.
stuff.
Trump. And I also read that JD Vance, he also owns crypto, and it's been doing well.
I think all these guys own. I think on both sides of the aisle own some level of crypto.
Oh yeah,
Remember,
of course they
the
do. There's no way they don't.
yeah, it's kind of like with Harris and her and Walls owning guns. It's just they don't want to tell everybody they do until they had no choice. But right, it's everybody owns it. If they have if they have any type of financial help, like a financial analyst on their side, they all have invested in one type of crypto or another. Trust
Yeah.
me.
Oh yeah, absolutely. These guys, they may be. Well, you saw, especially in the last bull market, all these institutions were saying, crypto's garbage, Bitcoin's garbage, but yet in the background they're buying it. So
Yeah,
that they have it, that's for sure. And then
agreed.
yeah, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So yeah, a Michigan pension fund gets into Ethereum ETF, so there's another catalyst for the price. Yeah, so it looks like maybe Ethereum's coming out of its slumber and going to finally make a move. Now, anyone who's into TA and knows charting, this is actually not a bullish pattern, but typically these patterns here, they will break to the downside. However, we are in a bull market, so sometimes these can go the other way. But either way, they can only go so far. They get pinched off, and they have to break up or break down. And it looks like we're right on the support there with Ethereum, or sorry, resistance. So maybe it'll break through and it'll go up, but which would be nice because, like I said, it's been a lagging horse in this race so far in this market. It'd be nice to see Ethereum make its move. So that's it for the news.
Let me give a small shout out to those who love Cardano. You got to give them a small little shout out. Anybody who had bought out there at 32 cents and saw their price increase almost 30%, 33%. Shout out to those diamond holders of Cardano and those who invested the day before, because November 4th, I think was the lowest it hit was 32 cents. Today it's very bullish at 41, 42 cents. So congrats to those who held.
Yeah, got to give credit where credit is due. I'm curious to see what happens with ADA Cardano. I mean, the owner or founder Huskinson's, he's motivated. He's a pretty smart guy. He's got all these plans, but whether or not the ecosystem is actually going to grow is the important thing, because you got to have adoption, you got to have users, you got to have active wallets, you have to have volume, and those things just aren't there yet. Maybe this will now get Cardano going, and people that have exited out of that project, maybe this will bring some of them back. Like we sometimes make fun of XRP on this channel, but the one thing XRP has going for it is, it does have the XRPL. It has its own ecosystem. It has a very active community, and diehard believers. So, I mean, at least, they have a whole positive outlook going forward. But for a while there wasn't much going on with Cardano. It was just dead. You didn't hear anything about it. And yet it remained, well, right now it's still number 10, remains in the top. So people are kind of questioning its very, very high valuation. but yet there really wasn't much going on the chain. But that hopefully changes. So here's Bitcoin, 76,312, like I said, and ever since yesterday, we did have that bit of a retracement, but it's on its way back up. Here we see on the 24-hour price range between 74,004 and 76,008. So it didn't really dip all that much at all, actually. Okay, and then the other ones we like to discuss on the channel, we have Ethereum, 29.35, BNB 603, Salana 199.15, almost at that $200 mark. Going down, we mentioned XRP 55 cents, almost 56, up 8% on the week, which is good. Here's Doge. It has finally retraced a little bit, but it's still up 21% on the week. And what else we got? Going down the list, here's Sui, number 19. It's up 16.5% on the week as well. So that's pretty much the market.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of reserved moves throughout the week, right? Like, look at Doge, like I said, a 21% increase, and nothing like, no 10x, no 50x, stuff like that, moves throughout the market. But there were moves. I just think that when everybody knows, they're hedging their bet that if someone were to win, let's put our money that the price is going to go up. I think that they just held back, right? They don't want everybody kind of capitalizing because a lot of exit liquidity would be created, and I think that's what kind of held back the markets. What do you think? I think I lost you. I don't know if I can hear you.
Sorry about that. No, I have myself on mute. As I was saying, yes, no, I totally agree. And I was going to say that, one of the things I love about this stream is that, we can have our own different views and sometimes we align, sometimes we don't. But you and I, when it comes to the markets and stuff, we often align, which, we're going to have to find some stuff to argue about because we can't keep on agreeing.
Yeah, politics. We always have our politics.
Yes, exactly. I was going to say that we always have our politics. Okay, so let's go look at the liquidation map because there's been a lot of volatility. If you guys remember last week when we were showing the liquidation map, a lot of the longs have been wiped out and shorts were starting to build. And currently, let me give this a refresh because of the way the market has gone and it exploded to the upside. I'll go to the 7-day. I think look at this. The longs have just skyrocketed. So anyone who's doing any trading, leverage trading, just be very, very careful because when we have a lot of increasing price, there's a big chance that there's a lot of longs being entered into the system. And when that happens, that liquidity, like I've been saying over and over again, the market makers will want to take that liquidity. So they will find a way to bring the price down and get rid of all of these positions. Oh, I'm not even sharing the screen. Sorry. Get rid of all of these positions. So be very, very careful doing any leverage trading, especially if you're putting in a long. Make sure it's low leverage and keep your eye on it. So the shorts, there's hardly anything here. There's a little bit around this 77 to 77.5 range, but you can see what's back here. A lot of longs, a lot. What do we got now for the cumulative? 8.4 billion in long positions and 1.8 in short positions. So just be careful. Scott, sorry, go ahead, Juan.
No, I totally agree. I think there's a lot of long positions being set up for the long term. The liquidations definitely happen. I don't think the market makers have yet decided what that floor is going to look like, whether it's going to be 70 or 65. A lot of the shorts that are in play are more daily traders, not the swing traders. So they're just kind of looking into, hey, let me just either hedge and collect some additional revenue as the price fluctuates. But honestly, it's too early to call. I think that the weekend is going to play a huge role because of the ETFs. Besides the fact that trading continues on Saturday and Sunday. But I believe the ETF and how it's going to react to all this volume is going to play a significant impact on whether or not we're going to stay above and hold above 76,000. I would love to be in that 79 to 78 range, to be honest with you. By tomorrow, I'll be a lot more confident. But I don't know. I'm hoping that the market makers make a decision soon so we can react to it.
Agreed. I was just looking at the daily chart. I have the chart up on the screen. Now, one of the most important things, especially when you're heading into an uptrend, is you want to make sure you uphold the trend. You don't want to break structure, because if you break structure, it could go down even further. And then sometimes that could be, it could result in a many week, many month mini bear within the bull. And we already had that. I mean, you look back here, we had that initial pump back here in February, March. And then from that point on until about, a week ago, we were having lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. And it just kind of went stagnant. And this lasted for months because we broke the structure. So this time we did have a massive pump. So as long as we can maintain, like I know you mentioned 65,000, but according to this, I mean, to maintain structure, we really have to stay above, 66, closer to 67. We got to maintain at least above that to maintain structure of higher highs, higher lows. So let's hope that happens, because if we do break below that, then I don't have my liquidity heat map up on here. Or sorry, the liquidity map, but right around this 59, 60,000, there's a whole lot of support there. So that would probably be where we come down to. And at this stage of the bull market, me personally, I mean, not financial advice, obviously, but me personally, I can't see it coming down to this point because it's too much of a dip from where we are. Now I can see the price going, as you had mentioned, maybe close to 80,000. And then coming down that 15, 20% down to here, but still maintaining structure. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But it's a very nice move for Bitcoin the last couple of days.
My fear is the fact that the price action hasn't been respecting the EMA. And when EMA gets, like, if you look at further back, you see that even though there was a lot of volatility, it respected the EMA throughout this run. And here we have towards the front of the market. Now you're looking, this price action kind of disrespected the EMA a little bit there. Now that could have been just because of the elections coming up and stuff like that. But, and overall, that's my fear, right? Like, is it going to continue to respect the EMA and not kind of want to touch 65? And again, right, if you looked at when we talked about the original holders who held longs, they were well deep into that 65, 64 range. So if they wanted to kind of do a liquidity run, that's where people are entrenched in these longs.
Yeah, that's true. But you do have to take into account as well. Okay, so we'll go back to the heat map here for a second just to show around this 69,000, 68,000, 70,000, this range right here. The positions are not as much. And I think the reason for that is, any positions that were opened up here, once the price got up, they took profit. So as longs take profit, there may not be very much liquidity there to take. And then you do have some back. Sorry, what's that?
Yeah. No, I totally agree. That's true. I see what you're going there. But that's why I said that look how far back you would have to go if you wanted to do kind of a liquidity run, right?
Right.
And it's really not. It's not really untold for a market maker to say, you know what, let's go get it. There's not enough at the top.
67 is where as far back as the chart goes. I guess that's where the most significant stuff is. But 67,000 is where a lot of that is. And going back to the Bitcoin chart for structure, if it does go back to 67,000 to take all that stuff, that's right at that zone that I was talking about, where it would still maintain higher highs and higher lows. So you're right. They could very well dump it right down there and scoop up all that liquidity and then do like a real quick V-shaped recovery and shoot right up to 80,000. So that's very possible.
Yeah, you just gotta keep an eye on the chart and do some TNA and see what's going on. I think that ETFs are what may determine that. if there's a good inflow, right? The price might just continue to kind of go up, and then a new floor created. And sometimes you just accept that that's what's gonna be, and then let those new orders fill in, right? Because it's gonna just create a new bullish momentum, and then then you'll have that new jump to 85, and then liquidations back down to 80. So we'll see. We'll see. ETFs, man, ETFs. It's a unknown variant right now.
Yep, 100% agree. And to add to that point, there's a nice little structure there. To add to that point, if because the last few months with the price going sideways like it has, the market makers have scooped up a lot of liquidity, because anytime it got close to the zone and faked out to break out to the upside, I'm sure a lot of people put longs in there, and then of course down comes the price. Same thing happened here. Down comes the price. Happened three times major in this last couple of months. So the other side of the coin is the market makers. They could have made a lot of money already, and they may not worry too much about the amount of longs down below, because they can't get it all, and they probably made their bank that they just want the bull market to continue along with everyone else. But we shall see. The other thing I wanted to show, which I show every week, is the rainbow chart. We'll go to that now.
Gold pride chart. Let's go.
All right, so here we are. This is the updated version. It shows, where are we now? We are just in the still cheap area still. Lots to go, a lot to go. And then the last thing I did want to show is the Bitcoin dominance, which I should have actually looked for it earlier. I appreciate this, being patient. Here we go, Bitcoin dominance. And we come down. I believe it dipped below 60. Yeah, we're now, let me give this a refresh. I think we're at 59 now. So, 59.9. So the Bitcoin dominance, it did touch 61 and change. So there was a lot of, I don't know if you want to call them experts, but the consensus was that once Bitcoin dominance hit 61%, or, there and about 62, 63, that could be the peak, and Bitcoin dominance will start coming down, and altcoins will begin their season, which that would be incredible. And I'm sure that's what a lot of people are waiting for, because altcoins is really where the majority of the money is made in the bull market. At the later stages, I should correct myself there. So that's pretty much the market watch. I'm not sure if you wanted to add anything to that before we jump ahead.
No, I think you covered a lot of it. Just really excited to see how much impact this dominance is going to have. It did touch 61 for a second. I don't think it held it long enough to make or realize its impact. So I think it'll probably try to touch it one more time, hold it for a little bit, and then you'll see the alts kind of take a run at it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't think Bitcoin's dominance is finished by any means. I don't think it's going to really dip. But, as long as if it remains around that 60 to 62, 63%, that just means that Bitcoin will outperform alts, but alts will still do well as well. And I think, going back to, I want to go back to the chart, wherever that went. Here we go. Here's the top 10 on the coin market cap. As far as market cap goes. Now, Bitcoin number one, obviously 1.5 trillion. Now you look at the Ethereum, 351 billion, the second one, and then Salana, 93 billion. Those, I guess you can throw BNB in there. It hasn't done that great in the last 7 days. But as you see, Ethereum is up 15%. Solana is up 18.19%. So those two alone, with that high of a market cap and having that kind of week, that kind of pushed down Bitcoin dominance. If you were to take, I wish there was a chart for it, there may be, but if you were to take, say, Solana and Ethereum away from the market and just put Bitcoin against the rest of the alts, I bet your Bitcoin dominance would be a lot higher. But I think it's because those two are doing really well, especially in the last 7 days. Bitcoin dominance hasn't been able to climb as many people had thought it would. So that's just something else to keep in mind. And it can continue this way. I mean, you could have different alts alternating, having really good weeks, but Bitcoin still outperforming a slight edge and maintain the dominance where it is now for weeks and weeks and months to come. It doesn't mean the alts aren't going to do well. They will. But then once Bitcoin does hit its peak in dominance and starts to come down, that's when the altcoins will really fly. And that's when the fun begins.
Yeah, I would say though that I think overall Bitcoin kicked not Bitcoin, sorry, BNB held its own, right? If you kind of pull back at the sentiment from last year, a lot of anti-Chinese sentiment. Then we had um, the Gensler going after BNB. The price was around like 240, 230. So anybody who bought BNB just because they needed it for transactions doubled their money, doubled their money. So for it to hold its own at almost $600, it's just a testament to how important it is to have a free market. Testament. I mean, I think it peaked at 700 at one point. So it just shows that you can't you buy when there's fear and you sell when there's greed. And it's
Right.
no true sentiment has been shown more than in other coin than in BNB. It's just crazy. So I would definitely recommend keep an eye on it. I don't see it going anywhere. I think it's maybe had a tough 7-day week, but nothing crazy, nothing like it's dropped from into 200. So
No, it had done well, and then it kind of hit a wall. It shot up to 600 a few weeks ago, retraced back to like 540, 550, and then back up to 6. You're right. BNB is going to do well. There's no doubt about that. I was just referring to the last 7 days as to why the Bitcoin dominance was going up, and then it kind of stalled at 61 and then retraced back to 59 is because of Ethereum and Salana. Black Cat had a good point. It's up on the screen. Cardano announced that they are going to be a layer 2 for Bitcoin. I did hear something about that. And that's obviously a huge reason for the pump that it had, or a big reason anyway. And yeah, I had forgotten about that. Now we'll have to see how that goes. I know they're going to be, I don't know if they want to be considered a bridge or if it's going to be seamlessly integrated. I'm not sure how that's going to work. I'll have to do a little bit more research in that. And then we have Girls Crypto Experience. Thanks for joining us. It's good to see you here again, week number 2. If you have any questions or anything you want us to go over, just put it in the chat and we will discuss it if we have any information about that. So that is that. Let's see. We can go. Oh, yeah.
do you think Cardano's gonna pass XRP on the chart? It's one of the few.
That's a good question.
Because it's one of the few that I expected to kind of take a huge pump up, right?
Mm-hmm.
We got someone who's going to be pro crypto, and I expected kind of XRP to kind of take the lead. I thought it was going to jump 2 spots up, to be honest with you.
That's a good question. I'm kind of struggling for an answer because, Cardano is currently at 14.8 billion and XRP is at 23.8. So there's quite a big gap there. I know once the altcoin season really kicks off, anything is possible, but you can't count XRP out. They have a lot of backing. They've got a lot of money into different projects, different facets of their ecosystem. And of course, payments, cheap, fast, all the things that you want to see in a blockchain. Now, the only thing that's holding it back, I think, is the additional because the SEC, they filed an appeal on the judge's decision, so that's kind of, I think, holding it back. XRP will have its day, and this cycle, when it's all said and done, I think it's going to have its multiples and it's going to do really well. Now, as whether or not Cardano can pass it, I mean, anything's possible, but is the fact that they announced that Cardano is going to be integrated with Bitcoin through layer 2 or bridging or whatever, is that going to be enough? I don't know. because, like I said, XRP has the XRPL. They've got dApps running. They have their own meme coin little ecosystem. Whereas Cardano, they don't really have any dApps. No one's really using it. Transaction volume and usage and active wallets is just down. So remains to be seen. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe they'll come out with a few more things. The way Charles is usually, he comes out with one or two big announcements during the perfect times in a bull market, and Cardano rips. So who knows? Anything can happen. But right now it's doing well, and let's hope it just continues for all those Cardano holders out there.
Black Hat is asking, what's the bet that the government drops the suit because they want to use XRP for doing their digital asset program? To me, I don't think so, right? I believe that XRP can't be controlled by the government, and as that doesn't happen, right? If the government can't leverage you into doing their bidding, they're just not going to be successful, in that way. That's for their own program. I can see Salana kind of bridging the gap with the government if they needed to, only because of their transactions, right? They're really high. Right. But I just don't know. I don't think XRP is going to deal with the government in the way, at least not faithfully. What are your thoughts?
I think it's a tough one because XRP has been building for this moment. Like that's what their whole thing is. Their whole spiel is fast transactions, peer-to-peer, avoid third party, and interoperable through government entities, aka traditional finance. So I think if it came down to it, they will use XRP only because they've already started dabbling with it. You hear all the time about institutions using it, testing it out. The XRPL works well. It's right up the TradFi alley, whereas Salana is more. I know a lot of people say it's too centralized, but it's really not. Salana is decentralized at its core, especially now with they're adding nodes all the time. So I think when it comes to the decentralized side of it, it'll lean toward Salana. When it comes to TradFi, they'll lean toward XRP. That's my thoughts on it. But like I said, we'll have to wait and see. I'm just going to pull up. Black Cat was asking for the chart, ADA, and so I'm going to check it. ADA XRP. I am curious of the chart as well, to be honest. Let's see what we got.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a good look to look at Cardano and XRP. The other ones are so out of league of each other. Like this is, I think, one of the best comparisons to see if XRP either falls back or Cardano makes that push back into that $1 range. And make a real, comeback. It has to tell a good story, and I think the BTC story, being its layer 2, is a good story. It's a good story to tell, but you've got to also show product. You got to be able to show something. You just can't be a layer 2 and do nothing with it.
Black Hat had a good point here. Soul is the way. Look at Visa adopting it. That's very true. I think what happened there is because I read in the bear market at some point that Visa and XRP were kind of experimenting or whatever, and maybe either that didn't work out and they want to now try Sol, or they maybe want to compare the two. I'm not really sure because Salana definitely has fast TPS. XRP's Ripples is as well, but I think Salana is a little quicker. Okay, here's the chart, Black Hat, that you were asking for. And as you can see, Cardano against XRP wasn't doing very well until, early August, mid-August. It's kind of been on an uptrend a little bit. And then, of course, the last few days when ADA has gone on a rip, it's gone up. But, yeah.
It has room to go. It does. Yeah. And that's the best part about it.
Yeah.
that it has that room to really grow.
So XRP has been outperforming, but the last little while, last month, I guess, ADA is starting to mount a comeback on that. Thanks for that suggestion, Black Cat.
Yeah, I think someone on our stream predicted that Salana was making some financial deal with the credit card companies, right? A few months ago. I think
Yep.
that was me. Yeah.
Where's the train horn? Where's the train horn when you need it?
But yeah, good stuff. Good stuff.
Yep.
That's a good point, though. I think the deal with Visa is what's gonna hopefully open a gateway, just not for Solana, but just for crypto in general, right? I'm hoping that with the ability for Solana to do these transactions, hopefully they can do it not only more efficiently but cheaper. It'll also bring down some of these fees for small businesses, so they can open and also use crypto. Because one of the things that sucks when you're using credit, right, and you see the signs every time you go shop, especially in the U.S. If you're not spending more than $5 or you're not spending more than a certain amount, then they're gonna charge you extra because the fee sometimes eat into the profits. Here, if Solana makes this work, and it's again more efficient and cheaper, it's a good way to kind of introduce crypto more mainstream.
Agreed. Okay, so let's touch on a few other things that I've noticed this week. Okay, we'll start off with Sui. Sui's volume and transactions and active wallet addresses has been booming. Actually, this week I think Sui was the number one crypto in the space as for new wallets and new active addresses. Their main DEX, Cetus, has done, it was close to about a 90% pump in the last 2 days. It has slightly retraced now. I'll go to it now. I think it's, I'll find it here in a sec, but it has done incredible. And I don't, for whatever reason, I'm heavy into Sui. And here's the chart here. When it introduced a token, I'll share it on the screen. As you can see there's the pump. This is the hourly, so I'll go to the daily. When it's a fairly new project, not DEX, but I started using it simply because they had really good lending protocol, and Juan, as you know, I'm right into the lending and borrowing on different DEXs through Salana and through Sui. And the token was at, a really, really good price. So, kind of go hand in hand when you put your money down in their platform. Pairing it with Cetus is just kind of the way it goes. And it's just had an incredible run. Here's the 3-day.
What's impressive to me is when you kind of look at the chart, people still believe in Sui. The price did dip below $2. People held. The price spiked, and there was a small little sell-off for a little bit, but yet people still held on and then rode this spike all the way up to $2.30, right? And when you look at that, even with all the onboarding that's been happening, there have not been sell-offs. And usually that's what happens when you see an influx of people come in, new wallets, not just investment money, just new wallets. People tend to want to sell and take advantage of the volatility, and that's not the case. They're actually diamond handing this, so kudos to them. Good job, Sui.
Yeah. And a part of that too as well. One of the things that made Solana successful, as we all know, is the meme coins. And when Sui got really hot and got going, they right away started, emphasizing the meme coins on Sui. They even have their own, pump fund type of website where you can create meme coins and of course buy and sell. And I think people will purchase the Sui coin itself, buy and sell the meme coins, but never actually sell their Sui. So that's another big catalyst or reason for their rise and not really pulling back all that much since the initial pullback a few months ago. So as you can see here, CETUS in the last 3 days has gone up. Well, I guess it's 4 days now. It's gone up 146%, which is phenomenal. And one of the big narratives I think that's going to be in this bull market is DEXs. So any chain that is going to be doing really well, or that is doing well, or that you believe in, such as Ethereum, hopefully it keeps going. Salana, Sui, Aptos. There's a few others. Invest in their DEXs if you want to find something that is kind of a safe bet. Okay, I use the word safe loosely, but you know that
Yeah.
as these tokens and projects go up in value and in price and volume, where the only place people are going to be able to buy and sell anything on that ecosystem is through their DEXs. So a good way to check that if you want is to come over here on DeFi Llama. DeFi Llama is a platform or a tool that I like to use for all my my research. I always tell people, do your research. This is a great place to do it because, it's got all the different areas. You got your DeFi, et cetera, et cetera. If you go into DeFi and then check your chains, it'll list all the chains and exactly, wait for it to come up. There we go. And here's the list of all the chains. Their day volume, single day volume, week volume, monthly volume, the size of their TVLs, everything you need to know on the different chains. And then if you find a chain that you like, you click on that chain, in this case, Salana, then it gives you a list of all of the protocols that are doing well. Well, all of them, but the top ones will be the best ones. And then you can go down the list. And then any of these that you have heard of, or you feel that's going to do great, or that that you have heard news about, or whatever, what have you, you can choose them here, and then you can find out all the information you want. And then, of course, you can actually buy the token for each of these: Jupe token, JUP, Camino token, the KMNO. And of note, Camino, which is one of my favorites that I like to do my lending and borrowing on, is now number 2 on the Solana ecosystem, which I did not realize it had shot right up there. It had been hovering around 4 or 5 for a while, but it's shot right up. It's even past the likes of Radium and even Orca down here, which Orca is one of their huge ones. But yeah, look at this. Camino's up all close to 2 billion now. That is phenomenal. Just seeing this for the first time, live on air.
Kudos to you, right? You talked about Sui for a long time, and seeing its success there. You've always kind of articulated it to everybody about getting in on Sui, especially when it was I think it was 50 cents at the time. So kudos to you. Additionally, I would also mention that Camino is one of those things you've been talking about for a while, just for supplying and doing liquidity pools with, and that now number 2. Kudos to those who jumped on board with you, making those returns. Good job.
Thank you. And that was Solana chain. Now over here on Sui, as you can see, as we showed the chart on CETUS, it has shot right up to number 3. And this was a very, very small DEX. When I first got involved with it, I think it was only about 52 or 53 million. Now it's up to 222 million TBL. So it has grown exponentially as well. And then, of course, Sealand and a few of the others. But Navi Protocol is the big one. That's the one that I am involved with on Sui mainly. So when I'm on CETUS, if I do my token swaps or whatever there, or the LPs, I will also go into Navi Protocol. And that's where I have my lending and borrowing of Sui and CETUS on Navi. So those two, Solana and Sui, they are great chains. They're proving it with their volume and their overall size, and their growth has been really, really good. So there's no going wrong with either one of those.
Have you done a walkthrough already of how people can get into CETUS and get into Sui?
Sui, I have not. I did for Salana when I did my DeFi, basically all of DeFi, but mainly liquidity pool video. I did that a couple of months back, but I haven't done one for Sui. And you know what? I really should, because it's such a growing ecosystem that right now is a good time to get in, because it's still relatively small compared to Salana. Back when I did the Salana video, it was kind of at the same area that Sui is in now. And Salana has exploded, and I really expect Sui to do the same thing.
All right. Hopefully, we'll get some responses in the chat during the week. And if you want Crypto Crazy to really push forward for one, let us know, and we'll set one up I think it's a great tool to learn and see how we can get in and how easy it can get into any crypto. Good.
It's a great idea. Yeah, thanks for that one. Okay, any last words? What time is it now? We're up over 8 o'clock. So yeah, any final words to end this week's stream?
Yeah. First, I think I'm really excited about the election. At the end of the day, what I wanted to happen, which is whoever won, not just to win the electoral college, but to also win the popular vote. Trump has been like the first person since Bush to actually win the popular vote. So congrats to him. Plenty of flowers there. Excited about that. I'm super bullish about the crypto market going forward. Forex markets going forward and stocks, right? I think this is the great time to pull your money and start making some decisions on where you guys want to invest, because 2025 is going to be an area where you're going to find some cheap pricing on items that you might want to buy, or investments you might want to make. Take advantage of it, and then hold it for 4 years. I'm not talking about a year or two. Hold it for 4 years. And lastly, I'm excited to see new regulation. I think that it's needed. I don't obviously. I don't want to get tied down to it. I'm just excited to see what they're going to bring to the forefront, what discussions they're going to have, and what policies they're going to do to not just bolster these markets, but to support us, the middle, the people who are not wealthy enough to make $1 million plays, and make it part of our investment strategy for our future. So that's what I'm leaving you for, guys. Just pay attention to the markets. It's going to be a good ride.
That is for sure. Maybe depending on what the news is like next week, what happens in the markets, maybe next week would be a good time to maybe go over, some of our basic strategies on what to look for, what to get in, and then possibly even, maybe a few weeks down the road, which we should do pretty soon, we need to do or touch on how to exit the market, because that's just as important as getting in. So many people hold on for too long, they end up losing all of their gains. So one of the best things you can do in this market is to have an exit strategy and implement it and stick by it. So that's one thing we should really cover in future streams. But one thing at a time. I mean, we're just entering the very exciting part of the market, and we got to take advantage of it. Kind of savor it, because this only happens once every 4 years, and if it does happen, as many are predicting, that this is going to be the last really, really big bull run where max gains are made, you definitely want to take advantage of this while we can. And we are still, air quotes, early, but you got to have a strategy to get in and have a strategy to get out. So we'll touch on those topics as well in future streams.
Yeah, I think having Chart back soon will help us facilitate some of that conversation, because you can see how one strategy may work for a crypto or may work for just BTC, but may not necessarily translate when using it in Forex markets or in stock markets. So that juxtaposition right there would be, I think, a good vital tool for anyone who wants to listen to our stream and kind of learn a little bit of TNA.
It's a good point. All right. Thank you very much, Juan, for joining me again this week. Thanks for everyone who listened in, and for all of you in the chat. Appreciate it. Black Hat Dave, Crypto Experience. Girls, Crypto Experience. Love having you guys here. Spread the word. Please like and subscribe if you liked what you heard. If you have any questions or anything you'd like us to cover, just throw it down in the comment box, and we will be sure to get to it. We read all the comments, obviously. And yeah, that's about it. Thanks for everyone for coming, and have a good week. See you all next week.
Good night.
We all drink that red maple. Break. No FOMO zone is in full effect. Chasing profits, not like regen, get erect. Mining that gold in the digital sea, living large in virtual fantasy. Weekly round table, we got no cables, predicting the future using their bagels. Chart is throwing out numbers, no trouble. We find suggests for real, no struggle. Calculations running through your mind, rolling through your mind. Weighing options, seeing what you'll find. Quick to watch what you'll find. Crypto waves crashing like the tide. Hold your breath, it's a crazy ride. Let's get it.